Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Minecraft. Let's get right on into it here. I got good news and bad news. Good news, we made a ton of progress. Bad news, uh, my recording software ate all of the footage. So let's give you a quick rundown here. We moved all the cows from way over there in the village out here into the fields. So that is complete. We didn't lose a single one. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. We've expanded this little farmhouse a little bit, which I think is really cool. So we added these two kind of crop fields to the back of it to add a little bit more detail, a little bit more interest. So we got melons going, we got beetroot, potatoes, all that good stuff. And then on top of that, we've also built this guy. It's a very simple contraption, but also very cool. We haven't blended it into the house yet, so that's something that we're going to have to work on. Maybe today, maybe another time, who knows. Essentially all this does is you deposit stuff in here that, can you put sugarcane? Yep, sure can. So you deposit stuff that you essentially don't want, seeds, potatoes, wheat, stuff of that nature. It loads it into this hopper, loads it into the compost bin, hopper, chest, and what do you get? You get bone meal. So it's basically a little bone meal machine. Pretty cool, very simple to make. Now, on top of that, we've also upgraded this farm down here. So you can see it probably looks a little bit different than the last time we were down here. So we effectively just converted this into a checkerboard pattern. So there's a plant underneath each one of these observers now. And it seems to have increased our collection rate quite a bit, actually. So you can see down here. Now, this has been running for quite a while. But we got a few stacks of pumpkins, and we're going to have a bunch of melons, too. And I decided to throw melons in there because we have that villager over in the desert village that will trade us emeralds for melons. So we'll be able to pick up mending on all of our stuff relatively quickly, I think. Now, we've also made some changes. There's a lot that we accomplished in the lost episode. We've added all these street lights into our town, so these look really cool, especially at night, kind of illuminating the path from the village up to the farm. And then there's a little bit more. Down here, we started the foundation for what's going to be a sugarcane farm because we also have a trade over in the desert village for paper. And rather than having all of our sugarcane out on this little beach, I decided to make a little farm out of it. And you can also maybe tell if you're an eagle eye viewer, we replaced a lot of the sand here just for dirt to blend it in a little bit. But I think that's about it. I think you're caught up for the most. Oh nope, there's one more thing. We named our dog Rufus after my in real life dog. Hello, Rufus. Good boy. I pet my dog with a shovel. What are you going to do about it? So let's go ahead and get started. Unfortunately, we lost some of the beginning footage, but I'll give you a quick rundown because, what kind of host would I be if I didn't? So this is going to be a sugarcane farm. Effectively, these are 8 blocks. So 8 on this side, 8 on that side, 8 on that side. Behind them are just stone staircases that are waterlogged. So that will hydrate these tiles so that we can actually plant the sugarcane on top of it. This is just a floor that we're going to have in here. I cut out the borders just to make accessing the rail line. It'll be a little bit easier for us, hopefully. And what we might want to do is before we build this up, we might want to just make sure we have all the necessary components here. I think we do. We might want to build up the rail line first, just so that it's out of the way, and maybe that'll make it a little bit easier on us, hopefully. So, I think what I want is I want to collect right here in this little stairwell. So, we're actually going to start on this side. This block marks the last block up there that sugarcane will grow on. So, we will simply do one of these, and we'll place a a redstone block right there. And then we're just going to follow this along. We're also going to need something right there. And then maybe we'll do a redstone block here. We also need something here. Redstone, and then we'll just throw some smooth stone blocks down there. And let's go ahead, and while we have this kind of angle here, so we need to raise this up one more. Easy enough. Now, all we're going to do here, oh, I hope I definitely don't have enough rails, I can already tell. But we're basically just going to create a little rail line. Nothing too fancy, but it'll definitely get the job done. Do I have any more rails? I do not. Let's see if we can find some. There might be some in here. Oh, there are. That should be plenty, actually. That worked out pretty well. Not scripted at all. So that will go like that. And now we need to think of a collection system, right? So what we might do is have this come out a bit further. And then what if we put our chest here? That might work just fine. Do we have our chest? We do. So we'll throw down a chest here, and then we'll make sure to connect it like so. And then we'll grab our hoppers, place them like so. Pretty straightforward stuff, right? I think it is. And then what we need to do is we need to return this minecart, right? So let's knock this guy out. We're gonna have a redstone block here, building block here. We're going to throw our rails down like that, and then one final one like so, and that'll shoot the cart back down. Now, of course, our our chest is blocked right now, so we'll have to dig down just a little bit here probably. Yeah, so it's going to take a little bit of work to probably make this look good, but this is essentially done in terms of the rail line, so not too bad. And now what we can do is we can start building the actual farm. So let's run through it one more time. These are just rows of 8 on these 3 sides here. Staircases on the back that are waterlogged to hydrate the blocks, and then just corner blocks here to make sure that water doesn't spill out anywhere, right? So what we're going to do is behind each of these blocks, we're going to place one of our building blocks. And I'm using, what is this called? Smooth stone. You can use whatever block you want, really. This is just what I like to use to signify a redstone build. It can be anything you want, though. And what we could do, actually, is we can go ahead and get our sugarcane planted. There's no harm in that, really. So we'll plant all this, and this, does show you, I guess, that those staircases do work. So they do hydrate the tiles. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to plant sugarcane, right? Like I can't plant it anywhere over here because they're not hydrated tiles. So from here, what we're going to want to do is place a bunch of where have I placed them? There we go. Pistons. Perfect. Okay. So we'll want to place a bunch of pistons. Now, we're going to have to kind of scoot our way up here a little bit. And then you want to face them. Whoops. You'll want to face them toward the sugarcane. This is going to be the primary method in which these get harvested. So, and by primary, I mean the only method. So make sure you have them done correctly. So we're just going to place them on top of these blocks on all sides. Fairly straightforward, I think. If not, then, pause the video, rewind it, go back. You'll get it. Not too bad. Not too bad of a build at all. All right. Hoppers are done, and I know nighttime is coming, so can we go to sleep yet? Maybe. Let's see if we can doze off for the night here. We absolutely can. So this should prevent any spawning from happening too. So very good. Very good. All right, let's get right back to it, shall we? The joys of doing tutorial-esque stuff in survival mode, right? So we have 10 smooth stone. We're gonna need a bit more than 10. So maybe we can get lucky again. Well, we got 5. Is that it? I believe that is. Let's check over here really quick and see if we have some stashed away. Not really. And, you can use any block you want. I'm just trying to keep it somewhat consistent. So, tell you what, we're going to have to run down to the super smelter. I think we should have some ready to go for us. I'm hoping. Let's hop all the way down here. The spider spawner is still going strong. It's enough for us right now, but I'm definitely feeling the you can turn that off too. Definitely feeling the need to get a little bit something better going. So we'll grab a couple stacks out of our chests there. That super smelter is it's A+. That thing is making life really easy. Now, you'll notice that I haven't put any stairs in our mine shaft. Of course, the original plan was this is going to be temporary, but we've done so much work down here now that, it's kind of like a fixture of the series so far, and we're pretty reliant on it to smelt a lot of the stuff that we need. But let's head back. Let's finish this build strong, huh? What do you say? Okay, back at the build. Very good. So what you're going to want to do here is place a building block on the back of all of your pistons. So just 8 in a row. Get one there. Very good. All right, easy. Easiest thing we've ever done. And now I'm just going to staircase up here just to make it a little bit easier. We're going to grab our observers out. And what you want to do with the observers is just hold shift and go down the line. So you want your observers to be facing in toward your sugarcane. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Shouldn't have any issues with this so far. And now we kind of just have one last step, and that's to grab some redstone dust and throw it on all the blocks right here. So all the blocks that you placed on behind your pistons, that's going to get a little bit of redstone on it. So on all of these guys, throw some redstone dust. And now, believe it or not, this build is basically done. There isn't too much left to do, and I can kind of demo this for you a little bit. Do we have a minecart? We do. I came prepared somewhat. Let's throw this guy down here, and let's just make sure it goes all the way around. Yep, and then it'll shoot back. Perfect. So now what we can do is I'm just going to kind of staircase up here, and this is just a demonstration, right? So all this stuff is going to be growing at whatever rate it grows at, right? And as soon as one reaches the top, so grows in front of one of these observers, boom, all of your pistons are going to fire. Now, you'll probably notice that as the pistons fire, it's kind of shooting stuff out in all kinds of directions, right? It shoots it out. Oops. Uh-oh. Are you going to make it? Hit the power rail. Okay, there we go. So it's going to shoot it out in all sorts of directions, right? Some of it's going to land on these blocks here, which is what we want, because then that minecart with the hopper will kind of scoop them up for us. If they get knocked outside of here, like on the floor that'll be here, that's bad news. If they get shot up and on top of the observers, that's equally bad news, because then we won't collect it, right? Let's just make sure that it is dropping it in there. It is perfect. So from here, it's kind of up to you. You can use any block you want in order to kind of entrap this stuff. I probably am just going to use glass because I think that's probably what looks best. And that's about it. So once you kind of, wrap this in whatever barrier you want, glass or stone or wood or whatever you want, you're done. And all that's left is just kind of fill it in as you go. And that brings us to kind of the challenge of the day. The build is pretty straightforward, right? You probably shouldn't have very much trouble with it. But now we have to find a way to blend this into the environment. And that, my friends, is the tricky part. So let me think about this for a minute. And maybe we jump right into a time lapse and get building. So one quick thing before we start the time lapse, I had to change some stuff here. So rather than having the access point kind of down here, I've since changed it. So I just moved it down here, so now it kind of goes around in a full square, and then I just have to come down here to access the chest. Not a huge deal, not a huge difference, but I think it'll help with the layout of kind of the build here. The second thing is I kind of framed this up a little bit just to try to give myself some idea of how I want to build the roof on top of this thing. It's a little bit of an odd shape since it has these corners, this diagonal piece, and I'm not very comfortable building with that. So it's going to be a bit of trial and error probably. But without further ado, let's see how we do while building this roof. I think that's where we're going to leave it for today. I'm still not 100% satisfied with it. It definitely needs some detailing. It needs a little bit of work still to make it something, I think, unique. But, you know, sometimes the best thing you can do is just get something down on paper and then start refining it from there. So we have, you know, the basic structure that we're going for. I still need to do something with the roof. It kind of just blends in a little bit too much with the rest of the build, I think. Although we did have a little bit of detail, you know, on the top, and once these grow, it'll add, you know, a little bit more variety to the area. Just kind of going through with bone meal and just kind of throwing some stuff down here and seeing if I like it or not. The actual farm itself is working flawlessly. I'm using some of these, what are these things called? Mushroom lights? Shroom lights? The new light source from the Nether, essentially. And I kind of like the way they look. They have a very warm glow, which I think is kind of cool. The inside here is still pretty dark. I'm wondering if we can lighten that up a little bit still. Down below, we've just placed a ton of torches, so I'm not worried about anything spawning down here or anything. But as you can see, I mean, we're getting tons of sugarcane just from kind of being in the general area, and this is nice and hidden away so you don't see it too much. I also kind of like the idea of just keeping the front of this just open without doors or anything like that. Let me know what you guys think about that idea. The roof is something we're going to have to come back to, though, because I'm just simply running out of time today in order to work on this. But I think the actual build came together a lot better than I originally anticipated. And we also created this kind of little inlet here just to, you know, again, just add a little bit of detail, make sure that not everything is kind of looking the same or on the same kind of plane of height, I suppose. So I think it's pretty cool. What comes next? Well, we're going to continue working on, you know, this town, of course. We still have a bunch of stuff we need to do. We need to, you know, revisit this shop here. We need to go work on the lighthouse. We need to build this bridge. We need to expand out, you know, in a viscerally direction to really kind of tie this place a bit more together. But I'm pretty happy with how everything's coming about. The road system looks pretty nice. This is a little bit close, but I think it works. I think it works just fine. Do we have slabs on us? We do. Let's plop one down there and maybe that'll, I don't know, it looks a little bit weird, huh? We'll have to revisit it and see what we can do there too. again, sometimes you just got to get something down and then work on it after that. So I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. Up here is looking really good. This is probably one of my favorite areas that we've done so far, actually. The farm down here is definitely working for us. Let's go visit that before we come to the end here. Lots and lots of melons, lots of pumpkins. We're definitely going to be able to get, any books or anything else we really desire from that village over there. I've been giving some thought to see if we could maybe, excuse me, sheep, if we can maybe do like a village breeder or a village like trading hall. If we do end up doing that, I'll probably just build it into the village over there potentially, rather than trying to, minecart or boat them out anywhere. Cows successfully moved. That was a headache, but I'm really liking this area. I think it's coming together pretty well. Let's see how it looks as we come down. It's a little bit flat, but there is some deviation to the roof, which I actually do like. I kind of enjoy that it's not, it's not perfect, which I think adds character. I really do. That's kind of why when we built our original couple buildings, like the library and the fishing hut, right? When we were doing the roofs on them, it's a little bit easier to see on this guy, but see how we kind of place these slabs and blocks and stuff like that, just to make it a little bit rougher looking. I think that adds a lot to a build, personally. Yeah, we still need to come back here and work on that, but that's gonna be enough for me today. This is a lot of recording, so I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, go ahead and hit the like button. It does help me out so very much. And if you'd like to see more in the future, go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Until then, we'll see you next episode.